Welcome to the Athletic NBA Show podcast, Basket Buds edition on the Athletic Podcast Network. I'm your host, Zach Harper. We got Dave DeFore, we got Jay King, we got Trevon Edwards, and we have ourselves a Kyrie Irving tweet that we will get to, or not a tweet about Kyrie Irving, some breaking news-ish about Kyrie Irving, but before we get to that, we got ourselves a series. Boys, I don't know. It's weird because as everyone knows, the Miami Heat got to the NBA Finals by collecting cereal box tops and sending them into General Mills, and they won a grand prize, and then they got to go to the NBA Finals. They didn't beat the Bucks and the Knicks and the Celtics to do it. They won a contest. That's how they got to go, right? That they got full airfare, full hotel. Luckily, it's the other games will be at their home, so they don't have to pay for that. But they won a contest. That's why they made it. Oh wait, no, they're a really good fucking basketball team, and nobody should be surprised that they beat the Nuggets in game 2. Nobody should be surprised. Oh, the shooting, it's not going to sustain. Yeah, well, a third of their games in the playoffs so far have been that shooting, and they're 6-1 in those games. This is a good team. Some geniuses said Kevin Love could be a difference maker in this series, and we're laughed at. Was that analysis given out? Perhaps a way to get a reaction out of co-hosts? I don't know. That's not the important thing to focus on here by saying Kevin Love could neutralize Aaron Gordon. What we're going to focus on is that it was right, either accidentally or by some like genius foresight that is there. Jay, you've been doubting the Heat for a long time. As they eat a 41-point effort from Nikola Jokic, and I wouldn't say they held him to 4 assists. He had 4 assists. Like, I didn't look at what the potential assist numbers were for him. Like, that information had not loaded last night, but he had 4 assists. They tried to, no matter what Spo tells you, their goal is to make him not a passer. You can see it in the coverage. Like, yeah, they'll still send doubles every once in a while. You have to, but they're trying to stay home. They start Kevin Love. He's a plus 18 in his 22 minutes. Didn't shoot the ball well, but he's a bigger body and allows Jimmy Butler to go guard Jamal Murray. The zone defense. All right, one more thing before I turn this over. The dumbest stat, and I think I said this on POC, the dumbest stat that I saw floating around as soon as we knew it was going to be Miami and Denver is everyone going, well, Denver's got the number 1 zone offense this year in the regular season of the playoffs. And it's like, okay, let's dig a little deep. Like, we don't have to get that deep on it. Dig a little deep. That's 2% of their possessions. And only 13 of those possessions came against the Miami Heat this year. The Miami Heat, who run this zone defense about as well as anybody, and they do it a lot. They do it about 20% of the time. That's not the same as going against like the Hornets zone defense or the Timberwolves zone defense or, OKC trying to play zone because they don't have any centers. Like, that's not the same thing. And so through 2 games, I don't doubt that Denver is the best zone offense in the world and they have the best zone breaker in Nikola Jokic. But through 2 games of the finals, they've scored, I believe it's 38 points on 35 possessions or 37 points on 35 possessions. It comes out to 105 points per 100 possessions. Against the zone defense of Miami so far this series. You'll take that if you're facing Denver, because normally they're torching you for like 120 per 100 possessions on any given situation. And so, Jay, how surprised were you by the win last night, Miami and Denver, to make it a 1-1 NBA Finals?
Not super surprised.
Thank you.
This is the Heat now. Everyone talking about how they're on a heater from deep and how it's unsustainable luck. This is the Heat. Just accept it. Accept that they're not what they were during the regular season. They are playing 2 guys in Max Strus and Duncan Robinson who are supreme shooters, can do it off movement, can do it in the transition, can do it in half court, whatever. They have Caleb Martin playing at an awesome level, Gabe Vincent playing at an awesome level. Pretty sure Tyler Hero getting injured actually helped them.
I am worried about him coming back.
Yeah. I would have the medical staff be like, Tyler, you could re-injure yourself if you come back in this series. You should probably just sit out the rest of the way. But this is who they are. They're a tough team. They scramble around defensively. They take you out of what you want to do. There was one possession, and we can talk about how they want to turn Jokic into a passer, or maybe that's just the untrained eye, or a scorer, but maybe that's just the untrained eye. But there was one possession that was so impressive me. It was in transition. I think it was in the second quarter, and Jokic has a ball, and he's going one-on-one. And normally a defense collapses in transition, right? If it's Giannis, you build a wall. If it's anyone else, you're helping and then fanning out to shooters. They literally just played him one-on-one. It was some of the most impressive stuff I've seen because it goes against your basketball instinct to just run straight to your man and allow Jokic to go one-on-one in transition. We can talk about turning him into a scorer. Do you know how hard that is when he's coming down as the handler in transition, and you have to go out and guard Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. and all those guys? That was the most impressive part to me, is like they were able to do it even in transition. They were able to stay that disciplined even in transition. This team right now is so detailed, so locked in, and they're super tough right now. They're a bear.
Honestly, my biggest concerns is it's not how Denver has struggled with the zone. It's how they've struggled to do anything to stop Miami from making shots. I just can't figure out what is going on with their defense. Like, they got disconnected early on in game 2 in a way that in game 1 they weren't. I mean, game 1 they were pretty good, I thought, at least from a communication standpoint, movement. Game 2, they just looked sluggish. I don't feel like they had the same amount of I mean, Michael Malone said it. I don't feel like they had the same amount of effort on defense. And Miami, that's the thing that they do, right? Like, the baseline is your ceiling. And so you've got to match that no matter what, or you're going to lose a game like this. I mean, this is a pure Miami Heat culture win, but also they played really, really well. You know, they show up to game 2. Everybody's writing them off for days. They show up to game 2 and win. That's the sort of stuff that we expect out of them. So I wasn't surprised that they really picked this one up. I've been surprised by how it played out, though.
The one thing about their defense is about Denver's defense is like, I agree with Mike Malone after game 1, where he was like, they got 16 wide open threes. They only made 5 of them, right?
Yeah.
I don't think their defense was good in the first half. And the thing that masked it was Miami didn't make shots.
Right.
And Denver did. And so Denver's up 15-16. Everyone goes, oh, well, I guess this series is over. And it's like, no, that's not like, I actually thought that their defense could have been a lot better. And it picked up in the second half. And even in the fourth quarter of game 1, when Miami got a little bit going, it's Kyle Lowry hitting shots at 78 years old. And it's, I didn't know what to do with that fourth quarter, but in game 2, like, those shots fell early. Max Strus hit early, and I think that was a big relief. And then Trey, I think Tom Haberstroh threw the stat out where it was like in Denver NBA Finals, Miami got hit by a 40-14 run, right? A 40-14 run, and they end up winning that game. That's crazy impressive to have that kind of ability to weather the storm, because we've seen Denver just they're just a tidal wave that hits you when that offense gets going, and they found a way to take that and then clamp down in the second half and get back to the defensive roots.
Yeah, when you think about just all the adjustments that was made from the offense to the defense, when you think about the first half, right, on offense, they were doing more picks. They had their shooter setting the screens and then just flaring out to the corner. There's no recovery for the Denver's defense. Like, usually there's a guy flying out. They had nothing for that. The shooters, you know what I mean, had better looks. They were able to get their feet up under them and knock down the shots. And then you think about on the defensive end throughout, whether the second quarter on to the end of the game, they're pressing and then getting into amoeba and just kind of rotating in this man zone that just was kind of throwing them off. But like you guys mentioned earlier, you know what I mean, like, just being able to make those adjustments and staying disciplined to it. both of these teams are both disciplined teams that stick to what they do. You know what I mean? You're not going to see Jokic go into panic mode when they're losing the lead. They stick to whatever that works, and then they go with it that way. But it's very impressive to see Miami fight out of that corner, especially such a big run as they responded to, and then was just able to just go on in business as usual and finish the game. I think it was close to like, I think 7 minutes left in the game. I'm just looking like, they're really about to do this. You know what I mean? Like, and both of these teams have been disrespected all season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just to be fair, just to be honest, and I can admit
Miami
that I was
deserved
wrong.
the disrespect during the regular season, though.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they've
Disagree.
kind of played around all regular season and then put their hard hats on when it really counts. And I mean, it's no disrespect to the regular season, but postseason is what Spo and company, that's what he does. You know what I mean? He's going to give you his best shot. And sometimes the best shot ends up in the driver's seat, you know what I mean, in the finals. And, but given health, like most of the time, Miami's normal issue is that they struggle with is health. Guys start to break down because they go so hard, you know what I mean, in that situation. And throughout Denver's situation, like obviously they were first majority of the season, but it was kind of like we were waiting on them to become Purdue of the NCAA tournament and just kind of fizzle out or get an easy out in the first round or second round. And they've proved that they belong here. I mentioned that they are a team. You know what I mean? Like they are a team that sticks to what they do. They're well coached. Mike Malone and Eric Spoelstra are both two amazing coaches. And I think this is going to be a closer series than what people think. You know what I mean? Most people were, sweep. Even I joked around about being a sweep, but I still have the Nuggets in 6. But I love that Miami Heat are making this a good series and proving myself and the rest of America wrong. Well, the world, shoot, because people are in Serbia right now watching at 3 a.m.
Not going to be happy if this goes the way of the Heat.
Oh,
it's gonna be
those world champion shirts are gonna go there still.
Jokic gets a ring too. No
Jovic,
matter who wins,
Jovic,
Serbia wins.
Oh, that's
guys.
true.
Like,
Actually, that's a good point.
It's the Nikola finals.
Yeah.
Let's not leave out our guy.
That's a good point. I don't agree with Jay's assessment that they deserved.
They were 3 minutes from missing the playoffs entirely.
Okay, great. that's fine, and they didn't, right? Like in the regular season, that's the play-in tournament. In the regular season,
they were the 7th seed.
They just didn't make shots. Like they didn't play poorly. They didn't make shots. They missed wide open threes for the first 65 games of the regular season. Their offense was gross though. Like it was disjointed. It wasn't what you expect from a Spoelstra Miami Heat offense at all. If they're
it's different now, it's totally different now. 100% different.
If they're not making 30, if they're making 35% of their wide open threes in the first 65 games of the regular season, I'm with you. Like it doesn't look good, but I wouldn't say like they were like, oh, this team isn't taking it. Like they didn't make shots. They had guys not making shots.
That's a function of the offense. They had the offense
to miss wide open threes. To miss wide open threes. No, this is the same thing as game 1 where people are like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a sweep. Denver's so much better, so much more dominant. Like they didn't make shots. They didn't make wide open shots in the first game
because their offense sucked. Agreed.
Okay, you just called
generating looks.
You just called Max Strus an unflappable shooter. Well, he was 0 for 9, and most of those were wide open looks in game 1, and he went 4 for 10 in game 2.
How is those guys struggled to make shots because the offense was bad during the regular season? The offense was
If you're generating wide open shots for those guys and they're not making it, how is that bad offense? It's bad result, but it's not bad offense.
Brad Stevens once said, "A good shooting offense is a good passing offense." And I believe in that. And they honestly, it was too much stagnation. It was not the Heat offense. If you watch them at all during the regular season,
if I watched them at all, get the fuck out of here! If you watch the Heat at all in the regular season,
that wasn't a shot at you. I promise that wasn't a shot at you. They just weren't flying around screens like they normally do. There wasn't all that motion. There wasn't like the fourth quarter last night was just special offense. Duncan Robinson is flying around screens. he's
Duncan
hitting
Robinson
threes
put
when
up
he
10
doesn't.
points in 2 minutes and 15
And
seconds.
flexed. And he flexed.
Has he done
And
that
he
in
flexed.
his life?
He hasn't done that since the bubble. He did it in the bubble. He hasn't done that since the bubble.
He's
He hasn't done that since
at
he
his
signed
best,
for 90. Like that's
he's so hard to guard, and because you have to run him off the line, and when you do, he can beat you back door. He's flying around screens. He's forcing you to come up, and then guys are making bounce passes off that to somebody cutting into the lane. Like that changes things to me. His insertion in the lineup and playing more minutes is a big deal for that offense. Tyler Hero, the ball stuck in his hands a lot. It just did. And they don't have that anymore. They have guys who make rapid decisions around Jimmy Butler, who's going to make great decisions and take care of the ball and do everything you want. So I don't think this offense was remotely similar to what it is right now during the regular season. It just wasn't. And so now it's totally different. And the pointing to they're just making shots now, I think totally overlooks all the progress that they've made and that this is real. This isn't a fluke. It's not some small sample size thing. Like they've been awesome offensively, process-wise throughout the playoffs.
Well, they've done the Spurs thing, and they've done this historically in the playoffs, right? They are exchanging good looks for great looks, but they're getting a lot of them. This is my biggest takeaway from game one. There was no reason, except for maybe Bam not touching the ball as much, right?
Yeah.
There was no reason to change anything because they were walking into wide open shots. They just didn't make them. And so in game two, when they hit them right at the jump, I was like, well, that makes sense. You're not going to miss forever. Although Max Strus, aside from hitting 4 straight threes, has missed again like a bunch of shots.
Yeah.
So like
he didn't hit after the first quarter, which is noteworthy. Yeah.
But this is just, I mean, a function of their good offense, and this is with everyone clicking. This is with everyone playing like adults. You know, you don't have Tyler Hero out there throwing the ball around. You don't have the bad defense is really the big thing, because often some of their bad defense when they had to play lesser defenders turns into good offense for the other team.
Yeah.
Right. But also turns into bad offense for them, because they're not able to take that defense and turn it into offense for themselves. So I just think when you're not playing any lesser defenders, even Duncan Robinson's out there defending pretty well, using his length, it makes it much easier for your offense to capitalize, right?
Someone told Duncan Robinson, hey, by the way, you're 6'8".
Yeah.
Like,
by the way, that contract
go be
funny,
6'8".
right? If they win a title, we got to do the thing that we do with max contract guys, where we're like, oh, he's old, he's going to be overpaid for 2 years.
Yeah.
But it was worth it because you won a ring. So if they win the title, we got to start saying, you know what? They overpaid, but it was worth it.
I think it guarantees like 10 million non-guaranteed if they win a title, by the way. I think I saw that on Twitter of Duncan Robinson's contract.
Today's show is brought to you by Front Door. Download the Front Door app and get a free video chat. We all have that long, incredibly nagging home to-do list that we keep putting off. It's full of annoying stuff that just needs to be fixed. A dripping dishwasher, hole in the drywall, or maybe your dryer is not actually drying your clothes. Well, wouldn't it feel great to get all that done? Well, now you can, and it's easier than ever. Introducing Front Door, the all-new one-stop home repair and maintenance app. Front Door lets you video chat with experts in real time so you can diagnose the problem faster. Sometimes you can fix it yourself on the video chat, or Front Door will send you a list of vetted and trusted pros to come out and help solve the problem. With a Front Door membership, it's easy to cross things off your home to-do list and enjoy that feeling of done. Download the app now and get a free video chat with an expert to start solving your problems today.
We would agree that Boston in the regular season had a much better offense than Miami, right? Like much better.
Sure.
Yes.
Difference of
Rating.
0.4 potential assists between them and Miami this season. That's all. I don't know. Maybe Miami just wasn't hitting shots in this regular season. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's not up for me to decide. It's not up for me. I'm just throwing out numbers.
I can't believe Zach Harper pulled out potential assists. What is the world coming to?
I like it.
If we start hearing about Bam Adebayo screen assists, God damn it. I swear to God.
We got to mention, I do not know how, speaking of Bam, I don't know how they missed that goaltending call. That
Oh,
like,
man.
look, I don't blame shit on refs. Like, I think it's a corny cop out and everything, but that is
Love that too.
oh my god, that was an egregious call. An egregious no call, I should say. That one, I was like, in real time, I was like, fuck, goaltend. And then I'm like, they're just playing?
I
And
still
then I
don't
was like,
understand.
and then I was like, all right, maybe I saw it wrong, right? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm standing at the wrong angle or something like that. And I was like, they show the real, like, no, that's clearly going down. Like,
I don't
not
get
even
how
close.
we don't. How is there no way to just fix that? I mean, like,
Yeah,
that's
there's
such
not
an
some,
obvious.
Steve Javy or somebody can't just, hey, by the way, like, that was a goaltend.
Yeah,
Put 2
count
points on
that
the
one,
board.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just count it.
it's so stupid. Here's something interesting to me is, so after game one, people asked Jimmy about, like, you know, you got to be more physical, get to free throw line more, blah, blah, which I all agree with. But he made comments of like, no, I'm going to keep passing the ball to my open teammates. Like, I'm going to do that. He hasn't been very good scoring the ball in the first 2 games. He got to the free throw line a little bit. I think he got like 5 or 6 times.
5.
Yeah, 5. He was like 5 for 5 in game 2. But he's not scoring like you would expect him to. But his passing, I mean, to Jay's point earlier and to your point, like, his passing has been spectacular. And I almost
just
wonder,
one turnover in game 2, just one turnover. That's one of the things that gets overlooked the most about him is he's so sure with the ball. He never wastes possessions.
Yeah.
Like, you hardly ever get just a sloppy Jimmy Butler turnover that goes the other way for 2 points. And it allows them to control the pace. It allows them to control really games. And that's such a huge factor that I think just a lot of the times people don't realize. He turns the ball over far less than most stars who have the usage that he does.
Dare I ask, do the Nuggets need to make him just a scorer? You got to stop helping, right? Like, I kind of think you got to stop.
Untrained
You gotta
eye
make
stuff,
him
man.
shoot. Make him
eye
shoot.
stuff.
The thing is, they did that in game 1 with Bam, and it worked because that was not good offense. Like, Bam took 25 shots to score 26 points.
Yeah,
only had 5 assists. That was a
good.
but that was a good strategy for Denver.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Live all day. And Bam, actually, I think in game 2, it's gone overlooked, had a much better offensive game where he let it come to him. He was going up with that jumper right away, which is always a good sign for Bam with no pump fake.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you. I think that Denver actually has the personnel to be able to play stuff straight up. Obviously, their switching in pick and roll has been pretty good, but to be able to play these guys straight up, they don't need to send help. It's not a Jokic situation where you are screwed if you don't send help and you're screwed if you do. I think with Jimmy, if you can just play him straight up, put Aaron Gordon on him. I mean, maybe even Michael Porter Jr., who's better on the ball than off the ball, use that length. Just hope he doesn't bite on the pump fakes and see what happens. I think that helping shooters, we just watched him.
MPJ flew by Gabe Vincent on a pump fake early in the. I mean, flew by. I don't think he's holding on those pump fakes from Jimmy. He's
trying to block every shot right
he
now.
Is,
right. Like that's
because he got 2 in game 1, and now everyone's like, "Yo, MPJ, he has been a better defender."
And 4. I thought he had another couple that they didn't give him credit for. But this guy is trying to block everything.
Yeah.
So
they need more from him. They need more.
He was terrible.
Well, the thing was, man, like early on in that game, you could tell he wasn't into it because he was trying to force his shot. He had that mid-ranger with 3 of his own guys standing under the basket, and he's got 2 guys in his face.
I made this point to Hollinger on Twitter. Look, at that point, when you have 3 teammates wide open under the basket and you shoot, you're actually being a good teammate, because if you pass to one, you're going to make the other 2 feel bad for not passing to them. So you just got to manage feelings and just throw a shot up. Well, I think that's good offense.
But he's not the only guy that's been bad for Denver. KCP
has been brutal.
Okay, but it started in game 1. The guy has been playing at 11. He has been extremely sped up, very physical, which he's gotten away with defensively. I mean, he straight up just shoved Kevin Love at one point in this game when he had the ball to a no call. So, he's not been shooting the ball that well. I don't think he's been very good. Aaron Gordon's been solid. I mean, it's hard for me to come up with a lot of Aaron Gordon complaints. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
But they're not getting enough out of MPJ, and they're definitely not getting enough out of KCP. I can't believe I'm saying this about KCP. Of all people, the most solid guy.
Zach, are you buying that Gordon was sick?
No. Too sick to talk to the media? No. Come on, get out of here, man. I'm not buying any more. Like, oh no, sorry guys, just can't talk to me tonight. Like it's the finals, man. Get out of here.
I love that. My man played 38 minutes, but could not sit there for another 5 and chat with the media for a little while.
No, I just like sick. Look, man, Caleb Martin was dog shit in game 1. It's all of a sudden, oh, he can't be immediate availability on Monday, guys. Not gonna happen. Or on Saturday. Like can't do it. Like he's too sick to practice everything. Like, come on. Like, I'm sure you don't feel good, but you probably feel bad about the loss. Like, sorry, I'm not buying any of that stuff anymore. The Grizzlies ruined it for everybody.
We're talking a lot about what went right for the Heat, obviously, because they won and even the series and everything. What do they do with Cody Zeller minutes? What do they do in that spot?
You stop with Cody Zeller minutes.
Obviously, but what do you do instead of it? Do you just go Kevin Love at backup center?
Kevin Love at the 5. Whenever
be really bad.
No, whenever Jokic is out of the game, you put Kevin Love at the 5, and when Jokic is in the game, Bam, get your ass on the court.
Bam's got to be in the game. Yeah. He has to be in the game for every Jokic minute.
So like 44, 45 minutes for Bam the rest of the way.
Whatever Jokic is playing.
Yeah.
As long as Bam is not in foul trouble, like Trey, like you can't.
It's the NBA Finals.
Yeah, you have a maximum of 5 more games. Like Trey, you can't keep playing Cody Zeller. He is atrocious out there.
I mean, like you said, it's the finals. Leave it all out there, unless it's something that's really detrimental. Yeah. And you hurt something else. Like they got something that they're dealing with something we don't know that they haven't released to us, and he has to sit out. You got to let him play. You got to let him play. I mean, he's licking his lips when he sees Cody Zeller out there. You know what I mean? It's just too easy. So, and it hurts them so much. So I'm looking in the situation of like, yeah, man, I'm just gonna have to tough it out and just try to play as many minutes as possible for them, to have the best chance to take the lead in the series.
Something that I want to note, because this is a stat going around last night about like the whole like make Jokic a scorer thing, right? And people were like, hey, this was like, that's not a good strategy because this was the offensive rating for the Nuggets. It's just Miami was like through the roof, right? Which I agree. Like I think it's, but it clued me into more of the, all right, what are the possessions looking like right now? Like according to Basketball Reference, we are at 88.9 possessions through the first 2 games of this series. That's a slow fucking. I know it's the playoffs. I know it's the finals. Like
that is
to me, that is Miami. Like Miami to win this series, they cannot be going up and down the court with Denver. Like they can't run with them. They just can't. And they have through 2 games. I know they got their ass kicked in the first game, but through 2 games, that is Miami Heat pace of what they want this to be. And I really think like Denver was 95 possessions a game, according to Basketball Reference, in the Lakers series, 96 against the Suns. Timberwolves doesn't matter. That wasn't really the playoffs, but this pace, like, and maybe that part of that is like Miami doesn't turn the ball over, like, and they're able to. I mean, Denver still had 18 fast break points last night, like, so they're getting, but they need to get that faster. The more possessions, the better, because they do have more talent, obviously.
Yeah, big time. I mean, the trick I think for Miami is to literally just keep doing exactly what they're doing, right? Like keep generating open looks. You hope you keep making them, and then keep playing Jokic. You got to just play him one-on-one. That's it. Because every time you worry about Jokic, the guy that you leave gets a bucket. It is, I mean, that he threw a hook shot.
Oh, that lob?
Alley-oop,
that was
that even Aaron Gordon didn't know was coming.
Yeah.
And it's one of these things where they've made it so hard. This is where Miami really has made it hard. They've made it almost impossible for him to make passes where he has to, every pass has to come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was a one-handed off the bounce hook pass alley-oop. I've never seen it before.
I love that, Jay, you said Love at the 5 could be bad, could be brutal. They were like minus 14 with Zeller in the game last night.
Oh, it won't be worse. Nothing could be worse than Zeller. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying there is no good answer there.
Yeah.
And,
you're facing Nikola Jokic. Of course, there's no good
better
answer
right now than Cody Zeller.
They bring back Ronnie Cycli.
Zoe is filling out that suit, man. He looks like he's in good shape still. I think he could do it. I think they should bring him back, unretire those papers.
Those
I mean, Udonis
8 minutes
Haslam
were
would give you better minutes.
destructive. I'm not convinced there.
Can't be worse.
You could
can't be
maybe
worse.
sell me
You're
on
right.
it,
It can't be worse. It
Pretty
can't be worse.
bad.
And it's not like Zeller's like, well, at least he's killing it on offense. Like, it's not that, right? Like, it's just I was legit. He hit like a, I don't know if it was like an up and under shot, but he just hit kind of like an awkward shot around the rim last night. And I remember thinking like, wow, they got away with that one. And he's like 2 feet from the rim.
The problem is if you're going to allow Bam to sit at all, you just don't have any other options. Like, I'm sorry, but Omer Yurtseven is not he is not a better option. Nikola Jokic, not a better option.
We're
like,
a year away from Yurtseven just being a monster in the finals. We're 1 year away.
Would be better off if it was like Tyler Hero at the 5 than one of those guys. I mean, it's just I like, look, when they went smaller, I think with Jokic off the court, I thought it was okay. But that was also how the Nuggets went on that huge run at the start of the second quarter, right? So that's, to me, there's the question that Miami's going to have to maybe solve in game 3. How do you prevent Denver from going on runs without Jokic in the game? Because Bam has just been so good defensively that he's covered up for a lot of their issues.
Yeah.
Jokic was a minus 11. That never happens. They never get outscored in the Jokic minutes.
Yeah.
And they really were flattened in those minutes last night.
I mean, they worked on that a lot in the second half of the season, though, right? Like trying to survive without Jokic on the floor in those minutes, and they figured it out, at least so far.
Yeah, but to me, it's the opposite. Is now you cannot get beaten in the Jokic minutes. Like, and I think that goes to Michael Malone's thing. They come out, they're a little flat. Miami hits them with a huge run.
Yeah.
They come out again in the third quarter, same thing. They come out in the fourth quarter, and like, you cannot let up against this Miami team, because it doesn't matter if they just got hit with a 40-14 run. It doesn't matter if they're on the road in altitude down double digits. It doesn't matter. They're going to keep doing the stuff they do, and they're going to keep executing at a super high level. And if you're not tuned into what you're supposed to be doing, Duncan Robinson is going to be flashing to the rim for a backdoor cut, or Jimmy Butler is going to be one-on-one in a matchup that you don't want, and he's going to be pulling up for a shot that you don't want to give him. And the defense in the fourth quarter by Denver was just bad. I think they started pressing a little bit.
Yeah.
Once Miami hit him with the run, like the Kyle Lowry, the foul on the Kyle Lowry shot, and granted he was drifting forward a little bit, but
it was just dumb. It was so undisciplined. Like of
28 feet out. That's what you want, is Kyle Lowry shooting a 28-29 footer with a moderate contest. You can't foul there. So there were just mistakes like that throughout the fourth that really, really hurt Denver.
The way they lost the lead there at the beginning of the fourth was kind of demoralizing. You know, they had a nice lead. They're thinking, okay, game 1, we started the fourth with Jokic. That didn't work for us. Let's get him some rest at the start of the fourth, just like, they've been doing all playoff long. And it took 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Duncan Robinson hits a 3, hits a layup, and hits another 3. And then they take a timeout, and they come out of the timeout, and they're up 2. And Gabe Vincent, on the first Miami possession, number 1, they don't get a score out of the timeout. Number 2, Gabe Vincent hits a big 3 and gives them a lead. And so, I mean, that from a momentum standpoint, you're shot. You brought Jokic back in just to lose the lead. And I think that mentally they never really recovered from that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because Gabe Vincent is so fucking good. Like, he's legitimately
what a great time to be a free agent.
A good player.
Yeah,
like
he picked the right playoff run to go bonkers.
He's a dead-eye shooter. Like a dead-eye shooter. I'm shocked when he misses. Like, he's just been so unbelievable. He leads them in scoring last night. He's so balanced. Like, he's not the playmaker that Tyus Jones is, but he reminds me a lot of Tyus Jones and just how he operates scoring the ball, right? Like, I just think that, man, that dude's a winner. That
more
dude's
dangerous
good.
Shooter too.
Yeah,
right? Like
more dangerous shooter, but like just so composed, so controlled, doesn't really make mistakes on offense. He's he's undersized as a defender, so there's only so much you can do. Like, you can't have him on Jamal Murray all game because Jamal is just going to shoot over him, but defends well, right? Like, he's just short. and there's nothing he can do about that. But man, Gabe Vincent's fucking good.
We're like
And
a game
he's
away
been another
from...
guy.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was
No,
going to
go
say
ahead.
we're a game away from seeing him photoshopped in Lakers jerseys.
Yeah,
For real. I mean, it's
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
Kyrie is going to be trying to get him to
someone's
got to
replace LeBron. Here's a transition. Hey,
sorry, I cut Jay off with a real.
Oh,
oh
no,
yeah,
you're
Jay,
good.
what do you got? Yeah,
I was just gonna say he's another low turnover guy.
yeah.
Throughout the playoffs, 4 assists a game, 1.5 turnovers. That's just a sparkling ratio, and it's allowed them to totally dictate the pace of a lot of these games in the playoffs. They've been playing on their terms the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today's show is brought to you by Philo. Visit philo.tv and use the promo code NBA Show to get 50% off your first month. There's nothing better than unwinding, watching a little TV every now and then. But the hassle of finding what to watch, and to be fair, the cost of cable just doesn't make it worth it. That's why I completely cut the cord. And if you love TV, Philo is your solution. Philo has shows, movies, and live TV for just $25 a month. No contracts, no commitments, no hassle, just a better way to watch TV. Philo also has unlimited DVR for 1 year, so you can save all those shows that you're probably never going to get around to watching. It also allows multiple profiles and multiple streams, so everyone in the house can have their own saved shows and up to 3 streams at the same time. And if you can't get enough TV, there's no better way to watch, because Philo has over 70 channels, including BET, VH1, AMC, and Vice. If you're still not convinced, try it yourself with a free 7-day trial. Sign up today at philo.tv. That's philo.tv, and use promo code NBA Show to get 50% off your first month.
All right, so let's get into this before we get out of here. I had to check that this was, I like everybody, I had to check that this wasn't a fake account. Shams Charania, our buddy, our cohort, tweets
I
out.
get the notifications, and I still was like,
Yeah,
no.
I got the notification. I was like, I gotta check this one. I don't know. And so from Shams, sources: Kyrie Irving has reached out to Lakers star LeBron James in an attempts to see if James would come to Dallas. Irving is a free agent this offseason. All right. There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
I'm
Trey,
gonna just help y'all right now.
yeah, actually, yeah. You know what? No, Trey, just go for it.
I'm gonna just help you right now, man. It's PR, bro. First of
Yeah.
all, you leak, you let Mavs know, hey, I
I'm
still
trying.
like y'all.
Yeah,
I still like y'all, despite all these aggregated Lakers blog sites. You know, me going there. I never was gonna go there. I want to be here. You know what? Actually, I reached out to LeBron and told him he should come here. You know, because in the past 3 years, he's burnt up every possible bridge he has no more leverage. And shout outs to Miss Irvin, his agent, stepmom. Good leaks. Perfect time for the
great.
leaks.
Yeah, it's a
Great leaks.
It's a
great leaks right now.
Oh, we
But
think this is a Kyrie leak?
this
Yes,
is definitely a
100%.
Kyrie leak. This has
100%.
zero to do with
Yeah.
6. No, 6 is coming though. Don't get it twisted. 6 is coming.
With
We
the
gonna
leaks.
wait. We
Yeah,
gonna see what they
yeah.
do with that number 17 pick during draft day while everybody else is, you know, doing 5-star passing with these picks and trades.
Imagine your offseason being contingent on the idea of what you can trade the number 17 pick for. But it's like that's
Well, the Mavericks are doing that with number 10.
I mean, they're gonna
man. Like,
try.
so-
They're gonna try. They're gonna
They
definitely
should
try
swap
and
them. They
swing
should
at
swap
Fred
10
Van
for
Vliet.
17.
They're gonna try. They're gonna try to swap and get basically Fred Van Vliet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a safer situation. Like, it's the idea of like the Lakers, D'Lo, right? He came in, Lakers fans like, we gotta resign him. We love him. And Austin Reeves, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like all these different things. When you really think about it, Reeves is definitely gonna be number one target on their back. Like what they're gonna do.
They're not going to.
And LeBron's gonna see how is this roster getting better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they move Russell? Because Russell thought he's gonna get a bag. Not going to be a situation. He's going to be a sign and trade situation. Definitely not going to Dallas. So they need to find a new partner and see where they can fill those needs. And then from there, like, again, this is Kyrie trying to make up for the lost money. Also, Mark Cuban's very emotional, bro. Like, you cannot play in his face. Like, He will, if he feels bad, this is like Shark Tank at this day, at the end of the day. If he feels bad about the decision, he will rescind that offer and just be like, all right, we went with this person and don't care. So right now, he cannot play in Mark's face. You know what I mean? Regardless, because right now is a lot of money. And that's another team. No team wants to give him 4 years.
No
I
think
team wants to give him 4 years right now.
Teams will give him
Only
2 year
Dallas
max easily, but not
only
4.
Dallas right now, and only reason why Dallas is even considering it because they're in a weird they trade.
They have to.
Yeah, and they also have to show Luka look.
Left.
Yeah, they like there is part like I don't think Luka's really in danger right now of like deciding to force a trade or like he's there for a long time, but you still have to show like look. Even if it doesn't work out, you have to show we're trying. We traded for Kyrie. We kept him. We offered him the 4-year max. Like we're trying to put something together, even if it ends up being a bad idea. Like you have to show that effort of doing it to at least like make it seem like you're taking it seriously. Because and that may seem obvious to people. Like, of course they're taking it seriously. That's not always obvious to players. Like players, they're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, what are we doing here?"
This also puts some pressure on the Lakers.
Yeah.
Because it introduces the idea that other people might try to recruit LeBron away.
Yeah.
And if LeBron is telling the Lakers he wants to play with Kyrie, and Kyrie's trying to recruit him to Dallas, and Mark Cuban's the owner, right? I mean, Mark Cuban is willing to make a splash.
Yeah. Wait a second, guys. Real
yeah.
quick. Do we ever get a decision on whether or not LeBron's going to retire? Because I remember that being because that's a talking point, guy. Like, so Kyrie's got to make sure that LeBron's not going to sign there and then retire. Like, that's tough.
It's so funny that nobody even reacted.
I just want
to
to know, right?
Nobody
I'm having
cared.
fun with it at this point, Jay. Did he offer in the league? You know what? We'll take Bronny. We guarantee it.
Oh yeah,
we guarantee it, bro.
Yeah.
I will get them to take Bronny, bro. Just come on.
Yeah.
If Kyrie gets this done, and I don't know how much
And
stock
Luka will
to
back
put
him
in,
up. Luka will back
I don't
up
know how
Bronny.
much stock to put into this idea, how serious it is, how real it could be.
Not enough to talk about how it would not work on the basketball court. That's how unserious it is.
If Kyrie gets this done, he is the single greatest con man who ever lived.
This is how rattled Jay is by me suggesting that Kevin Love should be a neutralizer, and it ended up working because now he's got to consider everything as a possibility.
There is no such thing as fake anymore. That was as ludicrous as I've ever seen. This man's whole basis on picking the Heat was that Kevin Love was
we
going
saw
to make
Kevin
a
Love
defensive
stop
difference.
Steph
and then
Curry.
It worked. And
we saw him stop Steph Curry with the finals on the line.
And what did Spo say? Read that quote for me, Jay. What did Spo say?
I sent it to you today. Hold on. Let me find this. He said, I didn't have the foresight to start Love in game 1. I didn't. That's on me. Only one man had that foresight. Only one man knew that Kevin Love would be the defensive difference in the NBA Finals, and that was Zach Harper.
That was Zach Harper. And criminally underappreciated.
Sometimes you have to bow down to a take that went so right that it's impossible to foresee by the greatest coach of his generation. He was like, you know what? I could not have envisioned this working out. But Zach Harper, he knew.
Look, man. I seriously when I saw the rundown, the rundown from Schleck that day, it's like a matchup or whatever. I was like, what's that? Like, it's a ridiculous matchup I can suggest. And I'll say, like, I believed like 5% of what I said. It wasn't just like I was coming, but I knew I was like, Jay is gonna be pissed at this suggestion. And then for it to come true, like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what coaching situations are still available. Phoenix, if you want to say like, sorry, Frank Vogel, our bad. Like, we found somebody better. I'll take a Monty Williams contract. I'll go 6 for 72 with incentives that could lead up to 100. I'm willing to. I still need a podcast, but that's, other than that,
I'm still in disbelief at how well that take went for you, because Kevin
We only
Love,
care about the one game too.
He didn't even
Whatever
play
happens,
game one.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he didn't even play in game one.
Game two, he shoots that three from the corner, right? They don't box him out. He like staggers into the offensive rebound and then just kind of like trips on his way to the hoop.
Yep.
Doesn't get any lift whatsoever. Misses the layup like the 45-year-old who's still playing with the 25-year-olds in pickup. And that was a major difference in the NBA Finals. That guy was a major difference in an NBA Finals game. Starting him and playing him 22 minutes. It wasn't like he was just a ceremonial starter. He was playing legitimate minutes, and it worked. They needed more size. They've got so many guys who just muck your offense up by coming over to try to take a charge.
Yeah.
They have so many guys like that.
And fast forward 14 hours, and Jay King is considering the basketball implications of what if LeBron does go to Dallas and they get Bronny and they get.
But wait,
and they're gonna sign Draymond and
Kyrie would be the greatest con man of all time. Kyrie absolutely ruined the Celtics, and then convinced Kevin Durant. He was like, "Kevin, sign with me for 4 years. We're gonna do great things."
Look, man,
Kevin Durant was like. He convinced Kevin Durant to leave Stephen Curry, and go play basketball with Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan. I mean, if that isn't the biggest downgrade in NBA history. But here's the thing. People have to see Kyrie won one championship. The two teams in the NBA Finals right now should show that what wins in the NBA is consistency, it's discipline, it's people who are locked in for 48 minutes a game, and it's not about
9 months a year.
A star point guard who's flimsy with everything he does. So don't do it, LeBron. Don't do
LeBron,
it.
LeBron.
If Dallas somehow pulls off
please do it. Jay King
LeBron
will be
trade,
inconsolable if this happens, and I need that content.
I would be stunned.
Would you sign Kyrie to a 4-year deal under those circumstances? I still wouldn't.
To get LeBron?
No.
Not
Yeah,
a 38. Not a 38-year-old LeBron.
No. I just don't know who this is for.
It's for us, man. It's for us. It's for another segment that's not the finals on a podcast this week. That's what it is. We appreciate Kyrie. Make sure you subscribe to The Athletic. Make sure you subscribe to The Athletic YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe to The Bounce, thebounce.com/The Athletic.
He goes on Instagram and says, "Don't talk about my free agency." And then a week later, there are links that he wants to recruit LeBron to Dallas. I love this.
Make sure you're checking out all of our coverage of the NBA Finals on The Athletic. It's the best coverage. For Jay King, for Dave DeVore, for Javon Edwards, for Kyrie Irving, I'm Zach Harper. Keep it locked on The Athletic.